Hello, and welcome to the next installment of The Preacher Life. And once again, I'm actually in my chair, so you can stare at more than just me looking directly at you, although not much. So, we have now progressed into the fifth day of Creation Week, and this is found in Genesis 1, starting at verse 20. And we'll go through the end of 23. So, Genesis 1, verse 20. Then God said, "Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." So the evening and the morning were the fifth day. So we see the last few days, God first created light, and that was the first and second day. God created land masses and oceans. The third day, he did plants and greens and trees. And now on the fifth day, we're starting to populate it with creatures. So, one thing to note in this day, as well as the sixth day, is that everything is after its kind. So that's a key word to remember here, is kind. That we have all kinds of different species, but they're all within separate kinds. So we have the bird kind, and within that we have various things of, say, parrots or penguins, or I believe we have on this day as well also insects like fireflies and bees and wasps and all their different kinds. And yes, you can hear the joy is here today. And so we have variations within those kinds, such as birds. Obviously, we have different kinds of, say, magpies and finches. Like I have maybe goldfinches out here at my feeder, maybe not right now, but also have all kinds of different designs, but they're all in the same kind. Also, we have different kinds of fish. So as swimming around in my tank here, we have, I think these are called super danites or something like that. And then we have Picostomuses. We also have catfish and bluefish. They're bluefish, bluegills, and all kinds of different fish. We get dolphins and, all kinds of sea creatures. And this is what we see today, that we have different kinds. They can't necessarily interbreed with each other because they're different kinds, but it is what God used to fill the earth. However, the regular, or I guess secular, time frame says that evolution created all these, or that even dinosaurs have turned into birds. Well, we see here that on the fifth day, birds were created first before any land-dwelling animals, which is what dinosaurs are. And also, remember, we just had plants created just a couple days ago. And, plants going up for a couple days is fine, but in order to reproduce and create more plants and flowers, Well, a lot of that is done by insects such as bees that will go around a flower and pick up pollen, and that way they take it from one flower to the next and they get pollinated. Also, hummingbirds and butterflies and that kind of thing. Well, how did a plant supposedly develop for a million or 2 years before you get the pollinators that work with them? And also, birds, let's say you have some kind of winged creature or some kind of original being, take your pick on what it is. Well, how did it develop into a bird now? Say, birds have very specialized systems that they use for breathing and also for their feather production, that they have to be even on each side for wings in order to fly. Well, say, start at something that's a single cell. How would you develop even something like a, let's say, circulatory system for blood? First of all, if you had no blood to start with, why would you need something to circulate it? And if you have veins but no blood, then why veins? And if you have a heart first, how would you supply the heart with blood if blood does not exist? And so on. You need all the parts functioning at once. And that's also the case with the respiratory system, the nervous system, digestive system, all these systems that are in creatures have to be all in place at once. Trying to develop them in a stepwise fashion just does not work. I mean, if you had a single cell something that was doing just fine as is, then why would it need to develop into all these new things? And also, if you say that evolution, quote, knew that it needed to, well, that's applying a human characteristic to something that is not a person. If you say, well, evolution did this or did that, or that evolution just found a way, well, would you say that's a part of logic, just, quote, found a way, or something that you can't touch or is inanimate? No. Say the only way for this to work is what God records for us in the Bible, that He created everything immediately functioning as it was. And yes, there obviously is change. Things do change over time, such as Darwin's finches. You know, they change into different types of beaks that can eat different seeds and that kind of thing, and different colors of feathers. But at the end of the day, they're still finches. They are finches that have different designs, but that is all built into their DNA already, that they did not develop something new, they just have different expressions. And if you get something, say, in an island or somewhere that it's isolated, then you're cut off from more genetic diversity. So that island, say, will get different characteristics of animals, be it of birds or whatever. So you may find things that are unique, say, just Galapagos Islands, or maybe Hawaiian, or some of the many places in the Pacific Ocean. But again, it's not ones that are added to it or things that come up out of nowhere, but it's what was originally programmed into them. And again, they're created after their kind. And it's what we see today, that we get such a variety of birds and fish and things that are here for our enjoyment, but that show God's glory in His diversity and what He has created. So think of that the next time you go out and see birds flying across the sky, or if you're like me, you have an aquarium and see fish, or enjoy fishing like I do as well, that, these are all their different kinds. And going back to the fifth day of creation is when they came about. But that's it for talking about this day. And next week's video, we will look at the final day of creation week, which is the sixth day. And that will probably take a couple episodes because there was a lot in it. But thank you for watching, and please remember, if you have questions, to ask me below. I'm probably going to come up with a video here pretty soon that will cover various questions that I can find on the internet, or various objections. But I also, of course, would like to talk about your questions. But until then, I'll see you next time on The Preacher Life. So, bye for now.